This is the time to use the great fiscal power of the United States to do what we can to support the economy, quote unquote. On May 13th, 2 days before the House passed the HEROES Act, you reiterated this message saying, quote, additional fiscal support could be costly, but worth it if it helps avoid long-term economic damage and leaves us with a stronger recovery, quote unquote. On Sunday, Dallas Fed President Robert Kaplan seemed to echo that, saying, quote, fiscal policy is going to be critical from here, quote unquote. And yesterday, former Fed chairs Bernanke, Yellen, and more than 130 economists wrote a letter calling for a bold congressional response, including, and I quote, continued support for the unemployed, new assistance to states and localities, and investments in programs that preserve the employer-employee relationship, quote unquote. The May jobs report showed slightly better jobs numbers than the April jobs report, which was the worst in recorded history. But there's still major reasons for alarm. Black unemployment rose to 16.8%, and 600,000 public sector jobs were lost. Yet, this administration and Senate Republicans are not moving with any urgency. Republicans seem to be more focused on a more limited response while granting a broad liability shield for major corporations. Question, do you agree with your predecessors, Chair Powell? Should Congress take bold action as soon as possible, quote unquote?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I would agree that Congress has already provided significant fiscal support, and that support is now having a positive effect on the economy. We see it in consumer spending and income data. We see it in payrolls. All of that is helping. And I would just note that there are something like 25 million people who are still who have been dislodged from their job, either in full or in part, due to the pandemic. And I would think that it would be a concern if Congress were to pull back from the support that it's providing too quickly. I wouldn't presume to prescribe exactly what you should or should not do, but I would say that it would be wise to look at ways to continue to support both people who are out of work and also smaller businesses that may not have vast resources for a continued period of time, not forever, but for a period of time, so that we can get through this critical phase. This is the economy is just now beginning to recover. It's a critical phase, and I think that support would be well placed at this time.
Thank you very much. On May 15th, more than a month ago now, the House passed the HEROES Act, which would, among other things, provide $175 billion in rental and homeowner assistance, nearly $1 trillion to support state, territory, and local governments, and another round of direct stimulus payments for individuals and families. I would note many states are reporting an uptick in confirmed cases of new highs, hospitalizations, with some officials slowing their effort to reopen. So who will suffer if the Senate does not promptly adopt these measures to support state and local governments, renters, homeowners, and the broader economy?
Well, as I mentioned, Madam Chair, I do think it would be appropriate to think about continuing support for people who are newly out of work and for smaller businesses who are struggling to get through what will be a temporary period as the economy moves back up toward higher levels of activity.